Hello, and thank you for watching this regional ag forecast for the Western U.S. I'm Andrew Pritchard, Senior Meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. As we look at the satellite and lightning picture here on this Friday morning, we can see the remnants of what was Hurricane Laura spinning away across northern Arkansas, moving into southern Missouri this morning. That's going to be curving over to the east into portions of Kentucky and Tennessee as a tropical depression today, bringing some heavy rainfall to the region. We've also got corridors of thunderstorms moving over the top of our ridge, which is expanding over the eastern U.S. Those thunderstorms tracking from Minnesota across Wisconsin into Michigan and on into portions of the eastern Corn Belt early this morning. Now, as we look at the upper level flow across the region, again, our ridge beginning to break down across the west. The big player here over the next few days is going to be this trough across the Pacific Northwest, beginning to push in across western Canada here early on this Friday morning. Again, here are the remnants of Laura, and then here is our trough beginning to kind of collapse and break down here across the west. Now, talking about the smoke from the wildfire situations across the west right now, with the ridge breaking down, we're seeing some of that smoke being advected eastward across the central and eastern U.S. We're really going to continue to see the air quality conditions be quite low across northern California into southern portions of Oregon, southern Idaho, and then northern and western portions of Nevada as we head through the next 24 to 48 hours or so. Now, again, I'm going to talk a lot about this trough here that's moving in across western Canada here on Friday morning as it continues to dive across the Canadian prairie and then into the northern plains of the U.S. as we head through the weekend. So here we go through Friday night into Saturday morning now. We're starting to see this trough beginning to dig now across the northern plains of the U.S., and then getting into the upper Midwest as we get into early next week. So this is what it looks like here on Monday morning. Again, very strong jet stream flow blasting across the Pacific. We've then got this trough digging in across the northern plains of the United States. And as we kind of just take this even further into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, what we're going to see is this very strong flow continuing to just scream across the Pacific into the Canadian prairie, down into the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes of the U.S. Meanwhile, we're going to kind of pinch off another ridge across the western U.S. in between that, and again, a bit of a cutoff trough here, cutoff low across the central plains in the midsection of the U.S. So as we head into early next week, this is what the pattern looks like. Very strong jet stream flow across the northwest. We've got a cutoff low, kind of pinched off here across the southern plains, the midsection of the country, and then on the backside of that, we've got a ridge kind of redeveloping here across the western U.S. So with that ridge redeveloping, we're going to be bringing in some very dry air to the western half of the country. We'll keep tropical monsoon moisture in place at times across southern Arizona into southern New Mexico, but by and large, a lot of dry air being pumped into the western U.S. So as we head into the weekend, looking for very low relative humidity values across the northwest, across the Intermountain North, across portions of Washington, eastern Oregon, getting into the Snake River region, portions of Idaho, and then western portions of Montana, especially dealing with some low humidity and some gusty winds as we head into the weekend. So we're looking at the day 2 fire weather outlook and then day 3 probabilities over here. So this would be for Saturday and then Sunday. As we head through the day on Saturday, looking for a couple areas of critical conditions across eastern Washington down into northern Oregon, and then again across northwestern portions of Montana. And the same areas are going to be under the gun as we head into the day on Sunday. Now, we talked a lot about the pattern having this kind of convergent area here across portions of northern California, Oregon, into portions of southern Idaho over the last several days, creating a lot of dry lightning. Now, that's not quite going to be the case with a bit of a change here. We're not going to be seeing quite as much in the way of afternoon thunderstorm activity popping up across that region. This is kind of a look at the lightning forecast as we head through Friday afternoon. We'll take it into Saturday afternoon here as well, looking for some thunderstorms across the Rockies, across much of Colorado, getting into portions of Wyoming, but quiet as you head back toward the west, at least for the day on Saturday. We'll take it into Sunday as well, again looking for quiet conditions as far as thunderstorm activity goes, but this is when we'll be looking for very dry, really dry, low relative humidity, and then breezy conditions on the backside of that trough, so a heightened fire weather risk even without the lightning here as we head into the back half of the weekend. Now, as we see this pattern unfold, with the ridge beginning to develop again across the west, a series of troughs making their way in from northwest to southeast across the prairie into the northern plains, we're going to see shots of cooler air. We're going to see opportunities for some rain with each of those fronts across portions of Montana and Wyoming, with conditions pretty much dry elsewhere across the west. So here's the precipitation forecast from the European model. Quiet as we head through the day today, with thunderstorm activity across parts of Colorado and Wyoming. Heading into the afternoon on Saturday, relatively quiet again, heightened fire risk across this region. We'll then take this into Sunday when we see our first front sweep across the region. This is when we'll see a chance for some showers and storms across portions of Montana as a cold front sweeps across the region. We'll take this into Monday, and then Tuesday we'll see another cold front quickly sweeping across the region, the chance for some showers, maybe some thunderstorms here across Montana and Wyoming. But now is when we'll start to be building that ridge back in. Again, flow coming around the ridge, up and over the top of that, with little systems making their way from the Canadian Prairie down into the Rockies. So total precipitation over the next 5 days, this is going to take us into September 2nd. Dry across the west here, just the chance for some showers and storms accompanying those fronts here from Montana down into Wyoming. We'll also be looking for thunderstorm activity across the Intermountain West, and then across monsoon areas here across central and southern Arizona. Now, temperatures as we head through the next week, we're going to be seeing those temperatures warming across the west, with shots of cooler air across north and east portions of the region. So we'll see the front move through on Sunday, bringing cooler air to the northern plains, Montana and Wyoming tapping into that as well. But then as we head into early next week, as we start to see that ridge begin to build, we're going to be seeing heat across the west, with shots of cooler and drier air coming up and over the top of that ridge from the northern plains, from the Canadian Prairie into the northern plains, and at times the central U.S. So as we head through the next 5 days, we're going to be seeing those shots of cooler air coming in, at times glancing blows to the northern portions of the west here. Idaho, Montana, Wyoming could tap into some of that cooler air. But really, as we head into the days 6 through 10 time frame, we're going to be seeing that ridge building, heat returning to the west in a widespread fashion here, with cooler air coming down across Canadian Prairie into the northern plains and at times the central U.S. Your high temperatures over the next several days then today, tomorrow. Take it a little deeper into Sunday now. We're seeing that first cold front making its way through the region. Coolest air beginning to be felt across portions of Montana. Look at that, a high of 59, upper 50s and 60s to be found across portions of eastern Oregon, eastern Washington, off across the northern plains. And then Monday, that cooler air mass really begins to dive in. But then as we get into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday and beyond, look for heat to return across the west, with any cooler air being forced off to the east across the northern plains.